In 1953, the CIA quietly purchased $240,000 worth of LSD from a Swiss pharmaceutical company. That was the world's entire supply, 10 kilograms, enough for 100 million doses, bought for the express purpose of testing on unconsenting civilians. Over the next 20 years, this initiative expanded into a network of 150 covert subprojects. The CIA used front companies to funnel millions into research conducted across dozens of universities, hospitals, and federal prisons. Our current knowledge of these events exists because of a clerical error. In 1973, facing the threat of public exposure, the director of the CIA ordered every file related to the program destroyed. But shredders missed a single cache of 20,000 financial documents, misfiled in a building used for budgetary records. If those surviving receipts describe covert dosing, kidnappings, and institutional abuse, what was written in the other 95% the CIA successfully erased? To understand the true scale of Project MKUltra, we have to look at the fragments that survived the purge. We can define this atrocity only by the shadows the agency failed to shred. The justification for these experiments began with the Korean War. When captured soldiers confessed to war crimes on television, American intelligence became convinced the Soviet bloc had mastered mind control. The CIA felt they had a mandate to conquer the human psyche first. To gain an edge, the United States turned to the experts. Through Operation Paperclip, the government recruited over 1,600 scientists and engineers directly from the collapsing Nazi regime. This group included former SS doctors who had conducted forced drug and hypothermia experiments on prisoners at Dachau. The CIA brought these men in to advise on the creation of its own early mind control protocols. To fight the Cold War, the American government imported the methodologies of the Holocaust and weaponized them against its own citizens. The architect of this operation was Sidney Gottlieb, the agency's chief poisoner. In his personal life, Gottlieb was a quiet eccentric who kept goats and made his cheese. At work, he was tasked with finding a way to break and reprogram the human mind. Gottlieb's team began with their own colleagues. In 1953, they secretly dosed Army scientist Frank Olson with LSD. Olson suffered a severe mental spiral and, 9 days later, plummeted to his death from a 10th-story hotel window in New York. Following Olson's death, the experiments moved from military retreats into civilian neighborhoods. An initiative called Operation Midnight Climax established a network of CIA-run safe houses in cities like San Francisco. CIA-paid sex workers lured unsuspecting men back to these apartments and surreptitiously dosed them with drugs. Behind one-way mirrors, federal agents sipped martinis and took notes on the victim's behavior. With unlimited funds and total secrecy, the agency completely discarded the concept of human rights. None of these subjects consented, and most never knew they had been drugged. Clinical experiments pushed even further. At the Allen Memorial Institute in Montreal, the CIA funded Dr. Ewen, the most credentialed psychiatrist in the world, to perform systematic psychological destruction. Cameron's deep patterning method involved putting patients into drug-induced comas for up to 86 days. While they slept, they were subjected to looped audio recordings designed to destabilize their sense of identity. Patients who saw help for minor anxiety or postpartum depression were subjected to electroshock therapy at 40 times the normal medical intensity. The human toll was devastating. Teenagers had their memories wiped clean. Mothers regressed to infantile states, losing the ability to feed themselves or recognize their own children. Who does a citizen turn to for help when the world's leading medical authorities are being paid by the government to torture them? The agency moved past simple interrogation. They were perfecting a system to systematically dismantle a human identity and assume total ownership of the mind. In 1973, as the Watergate scandal exposed massive government misconduct, CIA Director Richard Helms issued a direct order to shred every MKUltra file. He wanted to ensure the agency's history of illegal human experimentation was erased. In 1977, a Senate hearing finally forced the agency to answer for its actions. Those 20,000 misfiled financial records were brought to light and read into the public record. This diagram shows the scale of what we lost. The surviving records represent exactly 5% of the total archive. The remaining 95% is a massive void of unknown horrors. We are left with a chilling irony. Could an intelligence agency ever truly control a chemical designed to dissolve the concept of control itself? The CIA successfully used its own depatterning technique on its history. By destroying the paper trail, it wiped its institutional memory to escape accountability. The agency's quest for control inadvertently sparked a rebellion. Author Ken Kesey was introduced to LSD during a CIA-funded experiment. He went on to influence the entire 1960s counterculture movement. These atrocities also created our modern pop culture. The sensory deprivation tanks and psychic exercises seen in hits like Stranger Things are direct recreations of Dr. Cameron's actual CIA protocols. These events remain a sharp legal reality today. In December 2024, researchers published over 1,200 newly compiled MKUltra documents, sparking fresh lawsuits from victims who were experimented on as teenagers and are still seeking justice. Despite the declassified evidence, the CIA has never officially acknowledged legal liability for these experiments.